So good morning and welcome back to another video. Now I'm out pretty early today. It's 6 AM in the morning, or just gone 6 AM, and I've come out to do some lure fishing for bass over the next hour and a half. Now I'm going to be using a range of surface lures mostly today, or shallow divers, and fishing over rough shallow ground. Early in the day we've got a little bit of cloud cover, it's a little bit overcast. We are due some rain in about an hour's time. So pretty good conditions. Going to be fishing into a bit of a headwind, but it's really nothing major at all. Now I'm really hoping to connect with some bass today. The bass fishing lately has been really poor. There's a lot of small fish around. Nothing major, I've had nothing big whatsoever, but as far as the lures go, I've not had too many. Not been out too much, but on the times I have been out, it's been absolutely dead in most places. So I thought I'd get out early today, hopefully with the conditions the way they are. It's nice and calm, so can work a surface lure nicely, and hopefully we'll see some action. Well, that was a lot deeper than I thought. Oh, they're going to be wet for a few days. Right, let's get them bass. So I'm going to start off with the Patchinko 140 today, mainly because it's a little bit heavier obviously than the 125, and yeah, we've only got a gentle breeze, but when you go and head on to the wind, sometimes it can make a difference. But we'll bang that out there, wind in the slack, and then just tap away at that rod tip. I like to stop it every now and then because there's a lot of tide that runs through here. So I've just seen a little splash on my surface right in front of me. Probably a garfish. But I do really hope we find some fish today. Been throwing a few lures out recently over the last week and really had no luck whatsoever. But the thing is, I've not seen any bait fish, nothing in the water. Now a couple of weeks ago, a few spots I fished, they were full of life. There were huge shoals of sand eels, little white bait. I mean, it's hard to tell what they were at some spots, but there's definitely bait in the water. But over this last week or so, every place I've fished has been so quiet. Well, I'm on to a fish, fourth cast in. Is it a little bass? Or is it a beaky? It is a little bass. Well, that came up behind the lure and went for it. Now, I did pause it and it didn't come back till about a few meters later. But there we have our first fish of the morning. Oh, there we go, it's just popped off the hook. Saves me a job. Well, that's our first fish of the morning, so couldn't be happier. Full cast in, he's going crazy in the rock pool there. But yeah, I saw him come up behind the lure, go for it, whether it was the same one, I'm assuming it was. And then I just paused the lure because it's always good just to stop the lure, because 9 times out of 10 they'll come back and pounce on it again. But this time it didn't. A few meters more into the retrieve, and sure enough he comes and smashes it. Now, like I said, just a small bass. This one is very small in fact, but I'll be quite confident there'll be a few a little bit bigger around. We'll have to see. I mean, they're not going to be any monsters, but they should get a bit bigger than that. But that's the first bass in the morning, in that morning sunshine. What more could you ask for? Right, let's get this guy back. He's going to go back no problem at all, as you can see. Let's get some more. So as soon as I've put that fish back, just out in the distance there, within casting reach, I've seen more activity on the surface. So I'm pretty sure there should be a few small bass around here. So yeah, I've just seen a few fish hit the surface there. I'm going to cast out in that direction. Now I was just thinking a second ago, do I change to the 125? So I thought this lure might be a little bit bulky, a bit too big. So we'll see how I get on. As long as I'm hooking up, I'm happy. But if I start getting a lot of swells behind the lure but no take, then I'll downsize to the 125. But the fish are obviously hitting bait fish on the top, so if I just match whatever they're feeding on, should be able to find a few fish. So I've decided I am actually going to downsize, because this lure is actually pretty chunky. Now what I forgot I had on me is the Whiplash spitting wire. This lure has an incredible action. Now it's only light, I think they're 15 grams, I think. But I'm going to put this on, see if we can entice another little bass. Just seeing some more activity on the surface right in front of me. God, there's loads of fish there. Seen a few swells then. Come on. Now it might not necessarily be bass. You do get a lot of mullet round here, garfish. Well, I've just had a baby pollock jump clean out the water right next to my lure. So that's what I was just saying. Whenever you see fish hitting the top like that, this is shallow ground, so, and you do get a lot of juvenile fish around here. In fact, you get loads of juvenile fish around here. So I've had the odd session, especially last year. I was getting so many little swells behind the lure. I could not work out what they were, and it wasn't until I came back the next time, I was using a Patchinko 125, and I actually hooked into one and realised it was a tiny little pollock. They were small, sort of just 1 foot long pollock. There's more swells right in front of me. I don't know if the camera picks these up. That one was only 20 metres out. So where are the bass? Well, it's gone a little bit quiet. Still seeing the odd splash on the surface, but it's hard to tell what they are. Oh, there's one. Like I said, you get a lot of juvenile fish, so I think they're still the pollocks just hitting the top. I don't know whether it's worth changing lure again. So I've got a tiny little 10 gram Samson tweak bait, which could work quite well. think I'll give it a few more casts with this lure first, and then I might switch over. Well, this has surprised me. I was really expecting to see a few more bass, but nothing whatsoever. Still got these. Oh, there was a splash. That was right by the lure. And again. Oh, that's bass. Yep. Yes. Well, as I was just saying, that bass went for it 3 times then. And you can really tell the difference between, God, there's more of them behind it. You can really tell the difference between a bass swirl and these little juvenile pollock. He's coasting in the tide, this one. This could be a bit better, bit bigger fish. We'll soon see. It's a fraction bigger. Come here, mate. Well, as I was just saying, it was getting quiet. There we go. Another lovely bass there. Beautiful. Off the hook, the deadly Patchinko produces another small bass. Beautiful. So we got another one in the end, bass number 2. Happy about that. This one went for it a good 3 times, and there was a few fish following it as I was bringing it in. But I'm just going to put him in this pool down here. Now, so I started with the Patchinko 140. I then went to the Whiplash spitting wire. I then had about 4 or 5 casts with the Samson, I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, a little 10-gram Samson lure. I'll show you the difference between all 3 lures in a second. They range from obviously the 140 all the way down to the little 10-gram Samson. They range in different sizes. However, it's putting the Patchinko back on. I can get it a little bit further out there, so I don't know whether that's making a difference or what. But yeah, that's the one that's finding the fish, so I'm going to stick with that. Let's get this little bass back and we'll see if we can find a couple more. Come on then, buddy. Off you go. One last show. Perfection in miniature. Off he goes. Well, that's nice to see another fish. Just as I turned the camera on to say that it was getting quiet, or had been dead. I'm going to put it back out there again. Well, the fish move around loads in this spot. So some days you can come here and you're hooking up in one area, and other days it can be a completely different area, but with the same tide run. It's all about just keep covering all the ground. Oh, they're going for it again. Another 3 big swells there. Come on, come back. They were definitely bass. And they're missing the lure completely. But I know what I am going to do in a second. I'm going to put the 125 on and see if that makes a difference. Just wondering whether it's the bass, they're definitely hitting it with confidence, they're just missing it. and I'm just thinking whether it's the size of a lure maybe. If I downsize a little bit to the other Patchinko, maybe I can get them to commit a little bit more. There's another one. Oh. Come on. So off with that, and we're going to go on. I've had countless bass on this lure. Now shout out to Mr. Fish Jersey. He sent me a couple of Patchinkos last summer. Very kind of him. So pretty sure this one's the hollow bait. This is an absolutely deadly lure. So let's put it right back out into that same spot and see if we get a hook up. So here's the difference in the 4 surface lures I've been chopping and changing between. I've got the Patchinko 140 there, I've got the 125 clipped on at the moment, the Whiplash spitting wire, and the little Samson lure there. Now you can see the difference definitely between these two here. A lot slimmer profile, obviously a lot smaller. This lure only weighs 10 grams, but it casts just as well as the Patchinko, which I think weighs 18 grams at 125. The spitting wire is 15 gram, and I think the 140 is 20. But yeah, this is the lure that seems to be doing it today. Like I said, I've just clipped this one on. I'm going to give this a go because I just want to see if the bass commit more to a smaller Patchinko. Now I don't have the Patchinko 100 with me, but I'm sure that this is going to do the trick. Well, there's the bait fish. That gannet has just come out of absolutely nowhere. That was absolutely crazy. It's got a big launce in its mouth. That was mad. I just saw that gannet at the corner of my eye, at the top of my eye here, and it came, hit the surface. It's got a huge, is that a launce or it's either a launce or a baby garfish. But that just goes to show the eyesight of those things, because I didn't see any bait fish in the water. That thing obviously clocked them. As soon as it hit the water, about 10 of them jumped up. That's unbelievable. Well, he's got his dinner. He's just swallowed it. That was amazing. Those birds are incredible. How they see it is just crazy. And someone was telling me the other day actually, which I didn't realise, is the gannets will end up dying off. They go blind from hitting the surface of the water all the time. They end up going blind. And off it goes. Huge birds. That was amazing. So that's going to do it for this morning. That tide's dropped quite a lot now. All the activity on the surface has stopped, so I'm assuming the fish have moved off. I've tried a few different lures, but unfortunately we can't find any more. What a way to end the session. Seeing that gannet come down and hit those bait fish was pretty spectacular. So it's been a great morning, nice hour and a half spent. Great way to start the day. Hooked into a few bass, all on the Patchinko 140. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed the video. One thing I will say is I've recently had some t-shirts made, some fishingwithcal t-shirts. They're available from my website at fishingwithcal.com. £5 of every purchase goes directly to the RNLI for all the great work they do. It's a charity I like to support. So please head over to the website if you're interested in a t-shirt. I'd really appreciate it, and I'm sure the RNLI would as well. But that's going to do it for this morning. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.